Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lead counsel, Chief Mike Ozekome's son, on Wednesday, November 9, 2022, held crucial meeting with Igbo leaders in the United States of America on how to secure freedom for the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, following the refusal of the federal government to release him despite court judgments ordering his immediate release. Ozekome had, during the meeting in Atlanta, briefed the delegation of Igbo leaders on his efforts and other members of the legal team to secure freedom for Kanu, who has been detained at the headquarters of the Department of Security Services DSS in Abuja since his extraordinary rendition from Kenya on June 21, 2021. He recounted how he was engaged to join Kanu's legal team on the request of the IPOB leader himself and assured the delegation of his preparedness to fight with everything in him to ensure Kanu got justice. Ozekome praised the efforts of Ifeanyi Ejiofor, who had been handling Kanu's case before his, that is Ezekome's, recruitment, describing Ejiofor as one of Nigeria's young and most brilliant lawyers. Meanwhile, Kanu had issued 7-point directives to his supporters as he awaits judgment from the Supreme Court to seal his fate. A statement by Kanu's lawyer, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, after his routine visit to the separatist leader at the DSS headquarters on Thursday, November 10, revealed the 7 directives. Kanu first called on his supporters to be cautious of their enemies and maintain peace in all quarters, adding that IPOB is a peaceful self-determination movement. He went further to condemn all forms of criminalities and those behind them as a second point, while he stressed as a third point that he was not giving any order to any group to engage in any form of criminality. The statement partly read, "Furthermore, Onyendo directed me to issue the foregoing statements. 1. That this critical time calls for the greatest circumspect among his followers because the enemies are relentlessly exploiting the vulnerable to sustain their status quo and further blackmail the IPOB ably led by Nnamdi Kanu, which is a peaceful self-determination movement. 2. He has a hard stance in the condemnation of crimes and dissidents and reiterated that he has never condoned nor supported criminality of any form. Hence, the criminal elements who are involved in making lives unbearable to our people should be immediately fished out and dealt with as such. They have no place in IPOB's peaceful self-determination movement. 3. That the general public and indeed his people should be notified in unmistaken terms that nobody is receiving any instruction from him for the purpose of encouraging dissident behaviors and accordingly disassociates himself from any person or persons who is mischievously feeding the public with such blatant falsehood. Kanu stressed that he has since made his stance public, which position is clearly contained in a viral short clip recorded during one of his appearances in court. The separatist agitator on the fourth point called for complete tranquility in the southeastern part of Nigeria, which has witnessed all manners of disturbance and chaos, especially during Monday's sit-at-home. Kanu made the fifth point that IPOB was created on a peaceful foundation. He also said it was activities of assailants that were forcing security agents to unleash terror on the southeast region. 4. Kanu reiterated his call for total calmness in the entire southeast region and particularly queried the mental state of those who are relentlessly waging war against his people, the very people he had sworn to protect and make life better for. 5. Kanu's movement was founded on a peaceful bedrock in consonance with the universally recognized rights of indigenous people to self-determination as clearly encapsulated under the extant laws. 6. That the activities of the dissidents and marauders who engage in criminal activities have further emboldened the Nigerian security agents to unleash terror on the innocent people of the southeast region, the statement said. Finally, Kanu said the court rulings in his favor might not go down well with the federal government, thus asking his supporters to be peaceful and calm to avoid being blackmailed. The statement added, 7. In conclusion, Kanu reminds Chineke to note that the successful landmark victories he recently recorded in various courts of competent jurisdictions against the federal government of Nigeria, FGN, may not have gone down well with his traditors, including the FGN. Hence, he insists that all hands must be on deck to enable saner minds to identify the real enemies in our midst and those being used by the establishment to try to implicate and or blackmail him. Speaking about the court case, it said, "From every indication, it is very likely that a date will soon be assigned at the Supreme Court of Nigeria for the hearing of Kanu's appeal against the order staying the execution of his judgment. We will not hesitate to inform Umuchineke through the approved channel once a date is given." From Lagos, this is Tina Timothy, News Express Nigeria Television.